You have just tapped into the Christian Life Coach Collective, and I'm your host, Laura Malone. I'm here to equip and encourage coaches in skills, business, personal life, and faith. I believe you're already 100% worthy and capable, and you're called for such a time as this. So let's get you walking it out with courage and confidence so you can be an amazing coach who sees transformation and great results in both your life and the lives around you. Let's get started. Most coaches don't feel called to starting and running and building a business as much as they feel called to coach people in order to help them, right? If that's where your calling lies, is in actually coaching people, you have to consider everything else that's required to become the person who can walk in your calling and coach people. So you either have to work for somebody else that hires coaches, like a company that wants somebody to actually be an executive coach or managerial coach, leadership coach, some type of coach that they make available to their employees or the clients. But most coaches are looking for time freedom and flexibility to go with their calling of helping people and being a guide in whatever space. And they realize the only way to do that consistently, sustainably, and to reach more people is through starting a business. And then that's, I think, with that tension that we step into, is when you sense God is calling you to use your gifts, but the practical side requires that you build systems and you become good at marketing, and you have to, determine and set and commit to prices and offerings. You have to figure out all the technology that goes with it. And that stuff can feel really heavy and unnatural because you're like, I don't feel called to IT. I don't feel called to be a marketer, right? But you think, I am not a business person. I'm just somebody who wants to help people. The truth is that you don't have to be a natural business person to build a business and serve people. You just need a framework on a foundation and some tried and trusted tools. And the business is really just the structure that holds your calling. So you don't have to create everything from scratch. Like, what's the point of doing everything from scratch? Somebody's already been doing it. Somebody has figured it out. You just need to customize and contextualize what already exists to fit who you are and the people you're called to serve the way that you want to do it. So there's lots of templates and systems and strategies that can make that easier. It's what I want you to hear. Easy as allowed and easy as possible. And I say easy in it's a relative term. So you might think easy means I don't have to do it. Well, one day you might not have to do it. One day maybe you can pay somebody else to do it. But there is something to be said for figuring it out on your own so that you really understand it. God doesn't require that you hustle without any heart to do things for him or to prove your faithfulness. He does just ask you, like, be obedient and steward what I've given you well. So it's not always going to be easy in the context of I get to skip all that and I don't have to do it and my brain doesn't have to change or grow. It comes with the kind of in the context of in being obedient and faithful and stewarding what God has given me to do well, this calling, and to make it possible, sustainable, and have a container for it, I'm going to have to learn some new skills, and business is one of them. And I also have to speak to the fact that there are people I've run into in ministry and life in general and in business that just tend to divide and separate business from ministry. But I can tell you, I do a ton of ministry in my business. And just because you're a nonprofit doesn't make you a ministry. just because you have, a United States 501(c)(3) organization, charitable fund, blah, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't make you a ministry. In the same way that having a for-profit, sole proprietorship, or LLC doesn't make you not ministry. Your ministry is anything you do unto the Lord to serve people with the love of God. Okay. If you want to actually run something that is designated as a tax exempt, like government filed ministry, that's separate from what Jesus calls ministry. Jesus never set up a nonprofit. He never asked the government if he could start a ministry. He is the ministry, right? So, understanding the structure of a business, it actually is how you start to multiply your impact, your influence, your results. And the more organized you get in your systems, your automations, your processes, then the freer you are in spirit and soul to serve people from a place of peace with intentional focus and clarity and creativity. So instead of saying, well, I have to build a business because I have to figure this out in order to make money, but I don't want to, I just want to coach. I wish I could just do that. Try reframing it a little bit and say, I'm going to build a container so that I can operate in my calling as a coach. And the way that in today's day and age, that container looks like a sole proprietorship or an LLC where I file and set up as a business and I learn a system of processes that I start simple in order to actually start coaching, and then I build from there. That is totally possible. Like that's what I teach clients to do. When you think of it this way, then the business side becomes more purposeful because you see it as a container instead of like, I'm giving up my calling as a coach just to be a business owner. No, you become a business owner in your learning curve of creating a container for your calling as a coach. And that's where it becomes more consistent and sustainable. That's where your results and your success is going to come from. And your calling is where your gifts and your wisdom and your faith begin to meet the needs of other people. That is your ministry, regardless of your tax exempt status. Okay. Proverbs 16:3. It says to commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. There's your crux of the matter. Have you committed the work you're called to do? Not necessarily the work you are already doing or have done. The work you're called to do, whether you're doing it yet or not. Have you committed it to the Lord? If you do, your plans will be established. And that looks like a blueprint, right? So you're going to have a foundation, you're going to have a structure, you're going to have pillars, and they're going to build walls to create rooms so that you can put up sheetrock, so that you can paint the walls, so you can put in a couch or chairs or table, and you can invite people in so you can serve them. There must be a foundation. There has to be some structure built on top of the foundation. We need some pillars and we need some walls. We need some cornerstones, right? So commit these things to the Lord. Your plans will be established. This also says that you will have a plan. It's not like we're just going to show up to the job site and here's a piece of land and we're just going to sit here and wait and see if any clients show up. They're just going to like see this, 1 acre lot and see you sitting in the middle of it in the grass saying like, well, I am a coach. Why isn't anybody stopping in? Why do they not see that I am a great coach? Why aren't they asking me to coach them? Why aren't people paying me? Why aren't they booking sessions? Why aren't they engaged? Why aren't they invested? Why don't they want this? Because you're sitting on a piece of land on a blanket in the middle of the grass. And nobody knows what you're doing there. And they might not even be able to see you. Probably can't. They're driving by and they have no idea who you are, what you're doing there, but you have anything that they need. So if you build a foundation and you build a structure on there, then you can put a sign out front and people go like, ooh, look, I think I want to stop in. I want to see what they offer, right? I want to give you some clear and practical actions you can take, both spiritually and strategically, so you can move forward when you are feeling called to coach, but at the same time, you feel intimidated by the business aspects. Number one, start by naming your calling out loud. Write it down, whatever it is you feel called to do and who you want to help. Don't worry about, like, this is not your elevator pitch. You don't need to be able to memorize it. And it's not your tagline. It's not going to be the subtitle of your book. Okay. It's between you and Jesus. Describe it in a sentence or two. Name it and define it so that it shifts from an idea to an assignment you're walking out. An example could be, I want to help women process life experiences, their story, and hear God about their life and experience so that they can walk in freedom and become healthy, right? It doesn't matter. I don't have to say that to anybody. I'm just defining what's inside me that wants to come out. I want to help women understand their story and hear what the Lord says so that they can get freedom. And then when you're praying about this, pray for clarity rather than asking God to give you confidence, because confidence is going to come later, but it is going to come after clarity. Clarity breeds the action. I'm sorry, action breeds your clarity. Don't get me wrong. Action first, then you get clarity because you look at the action you took. You have a lot of hindsight, what worked and what didn't, right? And then after you have that clarity, you're going to start feeling more emotion of feeling ready. I'm confident. I am certain. I feel competent, all of the things. So instead, ask God, what have you already placed in my hands? Read Exodus 4:2 for that and do a little digging and take it to the Lord. Then list out like any of your skills, your life experience, the story you've lived, your strengths. And this is going to help you recenter your focus on what you already have instead of focusing on what you think you lack. And notice that I said what you think you lack, because just because you think you lack it doesn't mean you actually do. Number 3 is to choose a simple framework to follow. So again, you don't have to reinvent wheels. There's a ton of people out there. Coaching is a huge industry that's blowing up, that's growing all the time. And people have already done this. I have already done this. There's a lot of people besides me who've already done this, have amazing frameworks and blueprints, right? I have the Pearl practice that I coach on and I teach. Coaching business blueprint and the consultant coach experience that I walk my clients through, the Sokoka system that helps guide you, the 6 processes you need in place to build your business and grow it. Pick a trusted structure or even a trusted mentor or coach, a podcaster, a YouTuber, somebody who's actually speaking to you where you are at about what you want to do and focus on right now. And I'm just going to say, stick with them for like 90 days, 3 months. Instead of scrolling everywhere and listening to everybody and duct taping all your lead magnets that you traded your email address for over the next year or 2 or 10, because you can take that long to do that, pick one and give it 3 months. And instead of being random, be really focused. I literally, like, I am always going to say I'm available. Book a session. Let's go after this. Let's do it. But if it's not me, there's so many amazing people out there. Go pick them, but pick one. It's the rule of essentialism. Go into the backyard. You want to cut a tree down? You need an axe and you need to pick a tree. Don't use a bat. That's the wrong tool. It's not going to work on any tree. You need an axe. But if you go around and you hit every tree in the backyard once a day, you're never going to take any trees down. Pick one, get focused, get your essentials in line, pick your priorities, and decide, and then commit to that decision and follow through. Number four, just write down your first offer. Like before telling anybody, before launching anything online, before printing business cards, before thinking about your branding and a website, just write down what would you say to somebody that your first offer is. And maybe right now you've already had an offer, but it's not working. Okay. How can you refine it? Who's your offer for? What problem does it solve? What results do you help them get? What's the transformation it brings? How long does it last? What does it include? That's it. Who's it for? What problem it helps solve, the results it gets, the transformation it brings, how long it lasts, what it includes. And then maybe just share it with one person. Ask them, like, does this make sense to you? Get some feedback. And then before you ever have your website, your logo, or an LLC with the government, just find one person to serve. Do it for free. In fact, coach for free in the beginning as often as you possibly can. You're getting paid in other ways that matter in the long run. And if you won't coach somebody for free or low cost at the very least, so that you get the experience and build your own clarity, take action to get the clarity so you can have the confidence you say you lack. You're waiting for confidence to tell anybody you're a coach, but you won't tell people you're a coach if you're not going to get paid. So now you're not doing anything. So now you don't have any clients. Well, just do it for free. You're probably doing it for free anyway. You're coaching the cashier at the gas station, you're the random woman outside of church in the parking lot, you're coaching your friends or family or the teachers at school, whatever you're doing, your employees, your bosses. You're coaching people if you're called to coach. So just start framing it in such a way that you're actually giving them something more specific. And then instead of just saying, like, they get whatever they want, I'm just going to stand here and listen and ask great questions and be really curious and encourage them and offer to hold them accountable. Well, give them a little bit more boundary and direction and just offer this offer to them and do it for free. And you are going to experience everything that will help to reveal your ability, your capability, your strengths, your process, the lack of process, and your confidence. And if you can, number 6 would be to create a support circle, your investors. Like, are there other women building anything, doing anything, not even coaching? Is there anybody building out something that's in their calling? Are there other women who are going after what they're called to? Meet with them like every month or every other week, something. Make it easy, efficient. You can get together, you can do it on Zoom, but pray, troubleshoot, share wins, get feedback, accountability, encouragement. It'll all help keep you in your momentum awake and moving. Number 7 is to shift your paradigm about business, because every time you think, I'm not a business person, replace it with, I am learning to faithfully steward my calling through a business container. Okay? That's all it is. Remove the shame and the fear and make room for the grace in the journey and the wisdom you need so that you can actually have an impact on the people you want to help. And 8 is to invest in a journey and not the random pieces. We already talked about this a little bit, but instead of trying to learn everything online for free, consider committing to one journey of training and coaching that actually helps you walk through your mindset is becoming a coach, becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a businesswoman, the structure you need to have in place, the blueprint, the strategy and system of processes that you need. You don't have to do this alone, but you can do it alone. But I promise it will take you longer to do it alone than it will if you invite someone else to walk with you, especially somebody who's gone ahead of you and has already understood kind of part of the journey. That's the point of a coach. I will tell you, like, what is the point of wanting to be a coach if you don't believe in coaching enough that you invest in it. If you've never had a coach, you're resistant to a coach, you need to ask yourself if you're called to be a coach. Are you going to be able to actually offer somebody something you've never experienced and you're not willing to actually invest in for yourself? If you wanted to be a coach, you need to want to be coached. And if you want to be coached, you will get inspired and desperate enough to save some money to get coached, to put some money aside or not spend money on this instead of that. Okay. You can do it. There is a way. Save $15 a week until you have enough for one coaching session. That's just do that. You've got to show your belief in coaching yourself will amplify the action you take, the clarity you get, and the confidence you walk in. Number 9, I would say set a timed goal, like even 30 days. Like pick a milestone and say, finish your offer, start a discovery call, set up your first, client onboarding process. All the small wins that come from taking action will build your momentum and your confidence and your clarity. Number 10 is just dedicate your work to God every day. Just pray, Lord, this work is yours. This calling is yours to begin with. Teach me how to steward it well. Give me wisdom. Give me courage. Make my obedience fruitful. Let everything I do be unto you. Help my business to be profitable and peaceful for me and others, right? Whatever it is, write it down if you need to. Repeat the same prayer or let it be new and fresh every day. But take it to Him. Ask God to be with you in all that you do, to give you direction, but put your foot on the gas and know that Jesus is in the car and He'll tell you when to take a left, tell you when to take a right, tell you when to stop and turn around. So stop acting like you need the audible voice of God to tell you to get in the car and start it. And don't sit at a red light. I'm sorry, don't sit at a green light acting like it's a red light, right? So to recap, name your calling out loud. Pray for the Lord to give you clarity versus confidence. Get a simple framework to follow. Just pick something. If you're listening to my podcast or anybody else's podcast, even if it's not coaching and it's about business or taking action, just pick a framework to follow and do it for 3 months. And maybe it's even like following Dr. Caroline Leaf's process of changing your mind. 62 days or 63 days, like do something and then create your first offer for yourself so that you get clarity about it. Start by serving just one person in front of you. Do it free as often as you can. You're going to learn so much. Get some support. Build a circle of other women who they want to be supported. You want to be supported. Let's do it. Shift your paradigm about business and see it as a container that God gives you grace to build and to learn. Invest in an actual journey, not just randomness. Be intentional and set aside what you need in order to invest in yourself. Create some kind of goal, like a 30-day goal, that you will do this by that day, and create some urgency and give the work that you're doing a container. And then on a daily basis, take what you are doing, your calling, your business, the work you do, take it to the Lord and give it to Him. Surrender it to Him and trust Him in it. Okay? I just want you to know business can feel really intimidating, but it won't always be intimidating. Everything that starts out intimidating eventually becomes overcome because you move towards it and you see once you get close enough to the thing that feels intimidating and presents fear to you, once you get close enough to it, you get more detail and you get a different perspective, and you're able to actually see what God is capable of doing. You get up close and say, well, I guess what I'll do is I'll just take this action, take that step, and look at that. It's not as intimidating now that I'm starting to go around it a little bit, or maybe it's starting to dissipate or dissolve a little bit, disappear. And I'm starting to see that once I'm on the other side of this big looming fear, is really not as scary as I thought. Everything's figure outable. And with God, all things are possible. Love him, let him lead you, and know I'm with you, here for you, and everything you need to know is in the show notes. Lots of links for you. I bless you to walk in your calling, to not be intimidated. You have not been given a spirit of fear. You've been given a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind, and you can do this. Thanks for listening. For more coaching resources and to learn how to work with me, head to sterlingandstonementoring.com or click the link in the show notes. Remember, walk boldly in your calling, and I'll talk to you next time.